What's going on, boys? Cecil here, and this is my off the books list that I have been playing for a couple months now, changing it up a little bit here and there where I see fit. But this has been the non-hidden cache Syndicate list I've been playing for a long time, and it's quite good. I think off the books, even before hidden cache, was really overlooked. I think it provides a lot of passive value and it provides a lot of consistency to a deck that can be a faction Syndicate that can be rather chaotic with its draws, with the nature of spenders and coin generators. So off the books itself, it's going to have 3 charges of 2 coins a pop. You can use them whenever you want, and then every tribute in the deck is reduced by 1, which is the big draw for this leader power. So the main cards that are going to be affected by this, Savola, if you, for whatever reason, happen to be hard casting it. It's a little rare, but it does happen. You'll get a coin back when you make Scarabs with Azar. Morels and Adriano are going to be 1 point cheaper at 5 and 4, and he gives you 2 coins. So now with 2 coins, you can make your Sly Seductress with Adriano. And then as far as the bronze package, the Arena Ghoul is just a proactive 7, which proactivity is something that Syndicate can struggle with at times, so having the Arena Ghoul there is always nice. And then the Renegade Mages are not only a decent tempo play, I mean you can remove half of an Andraga Larva with these guys, or let's say damage an NR unit so it doesn't get the inspired buff of whatever it's doing. And it's also a blind eye, so it's going to trigger Passiflora a little bit easier. So we do have the Passiflora obviously in here, Moral, Philippa, Luisa Savola, Mata for consistency. But overall, this list has been pretty solid throughout a couple metas now, and I just haven't had a chance to make a video on it until now. So let's go jump into a few games, and we'll see what we can do with it in the current meta. Yeah, real quick before we get into the games, I realized obviously just after the fact that somehow my capture got shifted just a little bit to the right, cutting off the scores. But thankfully, these just 2 games we're going to take a look at are pretty low unit count games that are really manageable and easy to do the quick maths in your head. So my apologies, nevertheless, and hope you enjoy the games. Alright, so we got a Mystic Echo. I feel like that's been popping back up again in the meta a little bit recently. And as long as we can poison the Great Oak, we should be in a pretty good spot. So let's go ahead and try and find, we have a better spender. Okay, so especially with, I forget, do Hawks have 1 armor? I don't remember, but I have a feeling that Renegade Mage is going to be pretty good in this matchup. Alright, so starting out with a Novaguardian Justice. I actually really like that card in Crime Crime Syndicate. Let's see, so we could start off with, I think we're going to just Leader Power Adriano to start things off. We don't have hardly any coin generation in this hand, so if I can, I'm going to try and just stick to like the Renegade Mages, probably not the Street Urchins, unless I feel like generating coins for Philippa. We'll go ahead and start with our own pretty decent play. And yeah, it's not random, right? Yeah, you do get to choose the dwarf. God, my eye. What is wrong with it? Okay, so Nature's Rebuke. That is A-okay. Yeah, I mean, we can clear these out just for the sake of being dwarves. I'm interested to see if this plays Waters or if it's maybe Mystic Echoing the Novgardian Justice? It seems kind of strange, but so far this has been exclusively dwarves. Not really your typical Harmony list. At least not Justice and the Volunteers being in there. We will just go ahead and get our Passiflora. And still have a point lead. He hasn't popped his magic lamp yet. We'll see if he does that this round. Let's go ahead and take away that armor. I mean, you very well might give it back, but that still represents 6 damage we're avoiding. Or 3 damage we're avoiding on a 3 body. Yep, there's the tempering. So we won't worry too much about that. There's a chance we should have stolen it when we had the chance. But I don't think so. Do we want to push hard for the round? If I did, I would have to look. That feels bad, having to look with bank. I'll just get a spender out in case we happen to bank and make a couple extra coins. We have something to do with it right away. And so far, again, he only has Novgardian Justice unless he's going to double cast Nature's Rebuke, which doesn't seem worth it for Mystic Echo. Council. So there's our first non-dwarf. But overall, just an 8-point Isengrim's Council, which is 8 for 8, not the greatest. If we were to bank, what are we most ideally getting? Now that feels bad. Everything feels bad here, actually. I may just be out. That's fine. Everything felt a bit awkward to throw at that point. So, thankfully we were on red coin. Street urchins, very nice. We'll throw that and throw that. I have just been allergic to drawing gold cards for the last couple days. I have never experienced this kind of drought of good draws. The last 2 days of recording, I've had several instances of decks full of gold cards and just hitting double bronzes on the draw and double bronzes on the mulligans. But yeah, I was gonna say he's incentivized to pass here. We'll definitely throw that. Do we want to get rid of anything else? Yeah, I'm gonna give myself one more draw for better golds. And unless he's going to, which he very well might, double waters. But I wonder what he cut for Justice. Because it being a 10, it's pretty expensive. Got Moral. and a sea jackal. So bank is going to have to be Savola, so we'll be missing Azar and Dog this game. Does he have a bomb heaver? Since we won't be getting defender anyways, there's no extreme downside to going ahead with it now and testing if he has it. He does not. But this is probably going to be Waters. No, Call of the Forest. Interesting. For an Elf Sage. Interesting. This is going to be a fun game. Okay, so I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of specials about to drop. We have Moral that might answer one. He very well could have a cleanse for the poison. I get what, Moral one, Morel's the other, or potentially Yuled one, or Steel one with Philippa? So I think I'm going to Philippa to end the Passiflora so I don't overspend. Alright. So we'll just get our Philippa down and go to 6 coins. He will probably play a spell. If he doesn't play a spell, we're stealing Sage next turn. Okay, so he is. So we're going to Morel's one. Let's go ahead and attempt to poison the other first and just see if he has the cleanse. Because if not, this seems like a really all-in strategy if he doesn't have any backup plans. And Waters, I don't know, Waters, nah, I guess Waters wouldn't really fit into this deck. Or Oak, without the creature count. Still, a surprising amount of dwarves in round 1 for this being like a Spellitel. Yep, okay, that's what I thought. There's the Purify. Unfortunate. Would it ever get to a point where it's correct? I'm going to wait as long as I can on bank. I will poison this. And we're going to Morels. And considering I just used Luisa's trigger, well, I mean, if Savola's high enough, we might actually still be able to just hardcast it, since we won't be able to jack either of these guys with our Philippa. As bad as it would feel to take the fob, at least it's there. Tris TK. Probably looking for a Purify again. Nope. I'm really glad I threw that poison. So with 3 coins from bank, Luisa used, and Savola would be 17. One more spell and this climbs higher. I'm pretty sure we just, there's no question, we just go ahead and poison. We go Trafficker. And I'm not too sure how else this deck is going to try and produce these points. It's not going to have Elf Ball. It's not going to have... I mean, I don't think it's going to have Tree. Oh, it does have Tree. Okay, so we're going to steal that. So, he was kind enough to give us a Philippa target. It's very nice of him. So at least this is a really cool list. I was not expecting leader power use for double Elf Sage. But a creative idea. Maybe, I mean, he very well could have a Figgis in here, but Figgis for sure would make this deck a lot better. So, at this point, I mean, we only have spenders left. So unless he just pulls some miracle here, even double poison. Okay, surrender is not the end of the world for us. Just in case he has something like a Purify that's going to buff, although he probably, most definitely would have used it on the poison. Heat Wave, not really going to cut it. Take our last 2 coins and finish it with a Sea Jackal. Yep, so Gord won't quite do it. Still really cool deck. I always love seeing inventive stuff you don't see every day. So either way, nice, easy win. On to game number 2. Alright, so going against a Forge deck. So now a real Dwarves deck to test ourselves up against. I have not seen Mahakam Forge in a hot minute. The deck does run a lot of armor, which is kind of... Well, although Renegade Mage is good for getting rid of armor on the axe throwers. So we are on the play. No Adriano, unfortunately. Might just Arena Ghoul, since a lot of what we have is potentially proactive. That's fine. Get our 4 coins and pass. So yeah, poison is potentially going to play a more important role in this game over damage. We probably will have to tribute our Morels. Okay, so just a minor. What do I want to do? Sure thing, bro. Okay, let's just get our scenario. Probably Street Urchins next turn. Buff them up a little bit. Maybe to something like 6, since we have a second Urchins to play. If we need to generate some coins quickly. Interesting. Figgis round 1. I unfortunately don't have the Philippa to steal that, but I do have the Morels to smack that. Question, do I go Morels now or maybe Urchins, then Morels next turn? That feels fine. So we don't have to use a leader power. And if he happens to I want to Nature's Rebuke that, it's not the end of the world because I got my second one as well as a Sea Jackal. Resilience. Okay, so we can poison one, Morels the other. Either way, well, I mean, the question is in which order. This feels fine. Clear out that taunt. Alright, I'm guessing this is going to go on a axe thrower at some point. I am not too familiar with the Dwarves list. I've actually not played it yet. I haven't played too much Skellige yet. So I think we just... Let's see, we take armor off, we incentivize him to leader power, thus getting rid of it. Or we have the blind eyes to Passiflora, but it probably isn't correct. I'm going to go ahead and Maral. Really can't afford to lose tempo being on blue coin. It's a pretty slippery slope if you lose round one like that. It's a really hard uphill battle to climb back and actually win the game from there. Okay, so just a skirmisher. So we'll kill there. And clear out his pings. So far we've got... What is he? Okay, he's a 9. So, 2 decent golds out of him, and I mean, Mata is, yeah, an expensive gold, but the point is to just throw it for a 6 body. So we'll take round 1, and we're pretty happy with that. I don't know if we play out against dwarves or not. They could potentially have good long rounds if they set up a couple of berserkers. So, I might... I might Passiflora and spend the coins with Philippa. Yeah, especially if I can throw these two. Or a Renegade Mage. And hang on to a Spender. Go ahead and Passiflora. That was, I mean, just a preemptive leader power for Adriano next turn. So we'll probably use out our scenario, steal something. Okay, Karathi Heatwave. That's actually not the end of the world. Because we're still going to be playing a decent amount of tempo here. And with the creature-heavy nature of dwarves, forcing them to play catch-up from here, we should definitely, hopefully, be able to get our card back, which is the whole point of pushing right now. And to try and bleed out some berserkers. Okay, so there's a Nature's Rebuke. And I think we're just going to play our Seductress and replace it and put him in the exact same position. And then hopefully he's not too sure what to do right now. Is it correct to kill one? I genuinely don't know. If he just has something, let's say, that'll transform 2 of these into berserkers, killing one doesn't matter. Whereas if it's going to transform all 3, or boost all 3, then it would. But if it boosted by 1, we kill it anyways, so... I think we just Street Urchins. He's just played 1 Nature's Rebuke. Though I'm not really making any coins, so that's fine if he happens to kill it. It's not super worth leader powering here. Thunder, oh, okay, so he didn't hit the Spender anyways, which is kind of strange. It's still Scoia'tael. Poisoning our own unit is a little risky, at least a good unit, so I think I'm going to Renegade Mage first. And still, he needs 16 points to pass us. Definitely not getting it there. Doesn't have a suit. He has not had a super gold heavy draw. Well, I mean, I guess he's seen some. Karathi Heatwave and Zoltan's Company aren't that flashy. So now we can safely poison here. And we're probably out if he happens to throw a poison. But he's gonna have to do something big in the next turn or two. Because we probably pass here. Yep, so there's the Munro. Is it correct to double leader power and take one? Because if we're mainly relying on Luisa Savola to win us next round, and we're looking for Bank or Savola on the draw, or even Mutated Hound. Let's go for it. It feels okay. I'm not against trying this. And because every turn that ticks by, we get technically an extra 1 point of overall value from the Philippa. So we've so far. Yep. Okay. So we are out. Pretty sure we're out here because this is not gonna do it. So 4-card round 3. If we have Luisa Savola, we should be in good shape. Interesting choice of card in hand. Okay, one more tick. I was going to say, oh, was that an oopsie? But no, I just had to take over. So on to round 3. We have the Bank and the Savola. Okay, we are in fantastic shape. We have a Sea Jackal to spend, which would only allot for 2 coins here, so I think we still throw that. It's still just a 6-point play. We have 7, 6. Yeah, really it's just the Hound that reaches for more. Unless... Okay, there's no use in taking the armor off. Question is, do we hold? We could Yuld, then Bank, and either take Hound or Sea Jackal. I don't hate that. Because right now the 2 coins are only representing 1 point of damage, and the 2 extra cards we'd get to see are probably worth it. Okay, so there's the Zoltan. And we don't get the Hound at all, but at least we get a decent Sea Jackal. So we're in a decent spot. We'll get 1 more trigger from either one of those. Polly Dalberg, not the best dwarf. I don't think it's correct to run this card. Luisa, and we will be playing 19 points next turn, and we're 4 down. So he's going to have a pretty substantial last card, otherwise we win. So what do you got, buddy? Armory. Interesting. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, boost an arm unit by 6 and give 3 armor. We will Savola and buff. Cool. So that was a fun game. It's always nice. I love the dwarf. Yeah. So there you have it, boys. We have our off the books Syndicate list. It is a lot of fun and something that I think is pretty important. If we happen to see some rebalancing and potentially some nerfs to what a lot of people think is the best deck in the game, and I kind of tend to agree, that is Hidden Cache. This list here should probably be pretty nerf proof. There's nothing here, unless they just happen to finally touch Luisa Savola. In general, this off the books list is very solid and definitely worth a try. So if you like it, feel free to like the video, and I'll have my Twitch in the description below. So I will see you guys in the next one.